Intro. If you know me, you will know that I love to think outside of the box. I have been researching most of my life. It's not only intellectual knowledge, yet it's down to earth wisdom. You could call it the land of the mystic, feet on the ground and your head in heaven. Be practical and yet consciously live within the jewel that lies within. Call it whatever you want, but something is keeping you alive. The same power that is keeping you alive is keeping the universe alive. This is my first introduction to Tibetan formal training that I'm about ready to embark on. It's a 16-week course. Lama Glenn Mullen is presenting this course starting July 24th. I'm looking forward to learning more about this ancient wisdom. Here's the beginning of this new journey. Maybe you might want to join in this adventure. Life will give you many signposts and synchronicities if you are open to them. I've been fortunate to be aware of this since childhood. When one is conscious of the inner doors, signposts and synchronicities are a part of your life. Remember, the more attention you pay to something, the more attention it pays to you. My girlfriend Anna and I were driving from Toronto to Vancouver, Canada. The year was 1974. We ran into Mahatma Rajeshwar and Bill Patterson along the way. They were going to do a TV interview and asked us if we wanted to come. We spent a few days there. Bill gave me a copy of a book about Milarepa. He was Tibet's greatest yogi. The Kagyu lineage still exists today. In fact, in Ashland, Oregon, there's a beautiful temple that comes from the Kagyu lineage. Bill unfortunately died about 10 years ago. He was well known for his kindness. I loved the book. I was extremely fascinated by his life. I love to meditate. It is a part of my life. I mean, an incredible part of my life. I had a knack for it. Fast forward about 48 years. I'm on Facebook and I see the interesting post, Tumo and 6 yoga trainings with Lama Glenn. I was quickly drawn to this. What a synchronicity. My mind went back to receiving this precious book on Milarepa many moons ago. Signposts are all around us. Buddha has been following me around for a long time. My parents had a Buddha statue, where as a kid I would get mesmerized by just staring at it. It took all my troubles and worries as a young child away. In my teens, I began a formal meditation practice, which I still do today. My practice is the foundation of my life. I once had a past life regression when my twin brother John, Mark Laurenhurst, and I were students of Buddha. I could see it in my mind's eye. Even today, I can close my eyes and visions will appear. Of course, I can't prove it, grin, yet the impressions are there. Milarepa is another guide. When I first read the book on Milarepa, it was also mesmerizing. I lived in Ashland, Oregon for some time, and it was a beautiful temple that comes from the Kagyu lineage. My wife and I went to the temple a few times, but never heard about how to study with them. Anyway, this is going to be an incredible journey. Both Buddha and Milarepa have been friends with me for such a long time. Once again, how can you explain that? Yet, I most certainly know that we are never alone. This journey is both internal and external. What can I say? We are all blessed. Commentary. The following is my commentary on the YouTube video 6 Yogas of Naropa with Glenn Mullen. He did an incredible job. You are your own master chemist. Did you know that Buddhists have been studying the art and science of happiness for thousands of years? They were probably one of the first to talk about that you are your own master chemist. Buddha once said that when you get angry, you're drinking your own poison. In the last 30 years, Western scientists are on board with this. They know that over 1,500 stress hormones gets released into the body. Recently I finished the body. You are your own master chemist. From the YouTube video, I learned that my book was in alignment with the Buddhists. Buddha was probably the best psychologist ever known. Granted, he did not call himself that, yet they mapped out the states of mind that the Western world is trying to catch up. Just think, it was only in the 1980s that Western scientists studied the science of happiness. The East is thousands of years ahead of us when it comes to studying the mind. Lama Glenn mentioned there are probably thousands of chemicals that exist that Western scientists does not know about. Only in a heightened state of awareness do these chemicals get produced by the brain. Remember, your state of awareness determines your state of mind and body. If you are constantly stressed out, one has no clue about the mind-body connection. You are your own master chemist. Did you know that Buddhists have been studying the art and science of happiness for thousands of years? They were probably one of the first to talk about that you are your own master chemist. Buddha once said that when you get angry, you are drinking your own poison. In the last 30 years, Western scientists are on board with this. They know that over 1,500 stress hormones gets released into the body. Recently, I finished the book, You Are Your Own Master Chemist. From the YouTube video, I learned that my book was in alignment with the Buddhists. Buddha was probably the best psychologist ever known. Granted, he did not call himself that. Yet they mapped out the states of mind that the Western world was trying to catch up on. Just think, it was only in the 1980s that Western scientists study the science of happiness. The East is thousands of years ahead of us when it comes to studying the mind. Lama Glenn mentioned there are probably thousands of chemicals that exist that Western scientists does not know about. Only in a heightened state of awareness do these chemicals get produced by the brain. Remember, your state of awareness determines your state of mind and body. If you are constantly stressed out, one has no clue about the mind-body connection.
Your body is your drugstore. The art of Taoism has been around for thousands of years. I find it quite fascinating that they talk about the elixir of life. This elixir is not an herb or any external substance. This elixir exists inside of us. In India, they talk about the nectar from God that flows within. Yet here we are taking drugs for our ailments. Each drug has a huge side effect. Now, I'm not saying don't take drugs. I'm saying maybe there is a better way. For example, in China, you pay your doctor when you are healthy. You don't pay when you are sick. Mind you, in modern China, this isn't always the case. But the point is that you focus on balance and harmony. In our culture, everything is fragmented. We don't focus on the harmony of the mind, body, and soul connection. When I was young, I heard about the concept of being in harmony with the universe. To be quite frank, I had no idea what they were talking about. Here's an example of being out of balance. In my junior year, my parents took our family to Yosemite. It's probably one of the most incredible places on the planet. Yet, I couldn't see the forest from the trees. I was miserable. Why? Because I missed the ocean. Now, that's being out of balance. Before we can begin to be in harmony with the universe, let's try to be in harmony with the planet Earth. Currently, man has divorced himself from our precious Earth. We pride ourselves with the technology that we have, yet we are totally emotionally immature with the Earth. Where am I going with this? Imagine if man was in absolute harmony with the Earth. Can you imagine the wisdom that it has? It might tell you that your body is your drugstore. Every thought, whether positive or negative, secretes over 1,500 positive or negative chemicals. Currently, most of America is totally out of balance. Look at the problems today. I used to work for the USDA. I saw my friends taking up vaping. I couldn't believe how much smoke came out when they exhaled. It was at least 5 times the smoke from regular smoking. No wonder there is such an epidemic. Imagine there are drugs existing inside of you that are dormant. In order to receive them, you must be in balance and harmony. In each and every moment, we have the opportunity to be conscious and aware. Currently, we are playing the same tapes over and over again. I can guarantee you that these elixirs of life work better than any physical drugs. Your body has the intelligence to produce these for you. How many people listen to their bodies? How many people monitor their thoughts? How many people dive into silence? How many people monitor their actions? You see, there is a moment-by-moment conscious event. When we are unconscious, chaos exists. Look at the world around you. Does it seem to be in balance and harmony? The question is, do you want to change? Are you content with the current conditions? This isn't just Richard on a soapbox. I'm asking real questions. What do you think? You are your savior. Nobody's going to save you except yourself. All the scriptures point the way, but we must walk on this path. This human body is hardwired to find God within. We are on this incredible journey to discover our true nature. We are out of balance, and yet we can learn how to be in balance. These are exciting times. Millions of people are waking up. Play with your chemistry kit. We are all playing with our own chemistry kits. Unfortunately, we aren't aware of it. Many people blow themselves up without realizing it. In each and every moment, thousands of chemicals are being released throughout your human body. Mankind is spinning out of control. We are drinking our own poison. We get angry at someone or a political point of view. In the meantime, we drink our angry poison. We then wonder why illness arrives on our doorsteps. The wise man understands the repercussions of negative thoughts and emotions. Moment by moment, one plays this video game of life with awareness. One taps into the infinite ocean of love and compassion. This is our true home. My advice is learn how to change your own chemistry. Remember, you are the master chemist. Only you are playing with your chemistry kit. Ponder this over. This could make your life so much easier.
Nerve cells that fire together, wire together. These are called neural networks. The brain fires more electrical charges than all the cell phone calls in a day. That is a lot of activity going on. I would have loved to see the brain scan of a Buddha or Christ. Just think how incredible that would be. Years ago, I heard the Dalai Lama would research in his mind all the activities of his day. He would see in the mind's eyes areas where he could be more kinder and wiser in his actions. At that time, I couldn't relate to it. Well, I sure do now. He was consciously reprogramming his neural networks and his subconscious mind. He didn't have to think about being kind. He trained the subconscious mind day in and day out to be kind. I once read where he said he had a major anger problem as a child. Yet today, it's hard to believe. There's no kinder man on the planet. This is a practical path. What kind of neural networks are you creating in your life? If you don't want to answer that question, then you are like a leaf blowing in the wind. Your subconscious mind is running your show. Nobody gets a free ride. Nobody changes until you change your energy. Nobody changes until you change your energy. We still live in a Newtonian world. We still are only conscious of the external world of matter. Therefore, we only see 1% of the light spectrum. You could say as human beings, we are extremely dense. For over a century, scientists have been studying the quantum field. Mystics have been studying this for thousands of years. They knew once you change your energy, you change. The mind is like a tuning fork. It vibrates at whatever frequency it touches. When the mind touches silence, it becomes silence. This is our true state of mind. In the East, our present state is called monkey mind. If you don't know what it means, do the following. Sit down, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Just do that simple thing. You will see that the mind jumps from one branch to another. You can't stop it. I have a friend who gave up trying to meditate because he couldn't control his mind. To conquer your mind is the most difficult thing to do in the universe. Your body is your subconscious mind. The East has always known there is no demarcation point between the mind and body. Western scientists know that the subconscious mind exists inside of the body. Imagine that 95% of our actions come from our subconscious mind. That means only around 5% is conscious. Our bodies are trained to respond even faster than our conscious minds. It is built in that way. Yet, we are unaware of this fact. Consequently, our reactions stem from past events. It's like a computer going to a specific track and playing it over and over again. We respond to past events and we think it's a new one. We do this day in and day out. Over time, we put deeper grooves into their record of life. We build attitudes towards others. We mock people and flame others and think it's perfectly okay. We are intolerant of others. The list goes on and on. If we want to change this world, we must change ourselves. Nobody can do it for you. God will not do it for you. That's why it's called free will. Are we headed in the right direction? Personally, I think we have three directions that we perform in each and every moment. One is to take a baby step forward towards your goal. Two is to be on a constant treadmill and go nowhere. Three is to progress backwards. The Jains, Buddhists, and the ancient yogis all talked about this. The Jains and the ancient yogis have the same identical systems. I would imagine the Tibetan Buddhists would have something similar or identical to the ancient yogis. Their system was started in India. Note how similar both are. One needs to embrace the tree of life to progress on this path. The 8 Buddhist practice, the Noble Eightfold Path, are right view, Our actions have consequences. Death is not the end, and our actions and beliefs have consequences after death. The Buddha followed and taught a successful path out of this world and the other world, heaven and underworld, hell. Later on, right view came to explicitly include karma and rebirth and the importance of the Four Noble Truths when insight becomes central to Buddhist soteriology. Right resolve or intention, the giving up of home and adopting the life of a religious mendicant in order to follow the truth. This concept aims at peaceful renunciation into an environment of non-sensuality, non-ill will to loving kindness, away from cruelty to compassion. Such an environment aids contemplation of impermanence, suffering, and non-self. Right speech, no lying, no rude language, no telling one person what another says about him to cause discord or harm the relationship. Right conduct or action, no killing or injuring, no taking what is not given, no sexual acts, no material desires. Right livelihood, beg to feed, only possessing what is essential to sustain life. Right effort, preventing the arisings of unwholesome states and generating wholesome states. The 7 factors of awakening. This includes guarding the sense doors, restraint of the sense faculties. Right mindfulness, retention, being mindful of the Dharma teachings that are beneficial to the Buddhist path. In the Vipassana movement, sati is interpreted as bare attention, never be absent-minded, being conscious of what one is doing. This encourages the awareness of the impermanence of body, feeling, and mind, as well as to experience the 5 aggregates, the 5 hindrances, the 4 true realities, and 7 factors of awakening. Right samadhi, practicing 4 stages of dhyana meditation, which includes samadhi power in the 2nd stage and reinforces the development of the bodhidharma, complementing into equanimity and mindfulness. In the Theravada tradition of the Vipassana movement, this is interpreted as ekaggata, concentration of one's pointedness of the mind, and supplemented with Vipassana meditation, which aims at insight. The 8 limbs on the tree of life. This journey of self-discovery is infinite. It's like peeling an onion. There are infinite layers to this onion. A person can never clap your hands and say, "I've mastered it all." Our whole sense of understanding the world around us has been changed. The journey is going from a reactive state to a proactive state, going from the hurricane state of the mind to absolute silence. This takes time and patience. You see, darkness is the flip side of the coin of light. You can walk into a room when it's dark, flip on the switch, and the lights will turn on. In the same manner, you can walk into a room where there is light, and then turn off the lights and darkness will occur. Darkness is simply the absence of light. In both examples, you decide whether darkness or light will manifest in the room. The same goes for your life. Most of us are unconscious, therefore we don't make proper decisions. We live on automatic pilot. So we have our ups and downs in life. Nothing is stable. We spend our lives not wanting to change, even if it means for us to have miserable lives. We don't know that we can climb out of the hole that we have dug. This is the state of mind today. We don't ask questions about life. Even during the shutdown, when Mother Nature is sending us to our rooms, we aren't asking questions like why. We are so busy and bored to get back to our everyday life. The 8 limbs represents the tree of life and how we can be in harmony with it. Over time, one discovers one is a scientist, psychologist, dreamer, mystic, lover, and being practical. One learns to have the feet on the ground and your head in heaven. Patanjali set out his definition of yoga in the Yoga Sutras as having 8 limbs as follows. The 8 limbs of yoga are abstinence, observance, yoga postures, breath control, withdrawal of the senses, concentration, meditation, and samadhi, absorption. Imagine a doctor prescribing a program that will heal you in your body, mind, and soul. Note, the doctor does not heal you. You heal yourself. In the last 50 years, yoga has been mainstream in America. When I first started practicing yoga in 1971, we were considered a weirdo to practice yoga. Yoga posture is only one limb on the tree. This is a living tree. You are a living tree. So many benefits occur just by practicing yoga postures. People's health and state of mind have been drastically improved just by doing these. Note, practicing yoga postures is only one limb on the tree of life. We will talk about the various limbs in separate chapters. Behaviors to match the intention. If you have an intention to change, don't you think your behavior should match your intention? You will never change if your behaviors don't change. One could go to church every Sunday and give an offering, yet if during the week you don't practice what you preach. Life is an infinite series of modifying our behaviors. There will never be a moment when we clap our hands and say, I've learned all there is. If you ever say this, boy, do you have a grand lesson to learn. I can almost guarantee you life will throw you a curveball. The greater the intention, the greater one must modify his behaviors. One can't live one's life on autopilot. A proactive being is constantly modifying one's behavior for the better. You can't rest on your laurels. Every moment, we can always improve. How does that make you feel? A spiritual path is a practical path. One learns that in each and every moment we can modify our behaviors for the better. We will stumble and fall, yet we will pick ourselves up and continue walking. We can smile through diversity. We can not have a care in the world. Your behaviors become your personality. Change your behaviors and you change your personality. Have you ever seen an unhappy Buddhist Lama? Have you ever seen an unhappy Lama? Is that an oxymoron? I'm sure that exists, but that's not the norm. In my eyes, the Buddhists are probably the happiest people on earth. Once again, one who's moment by moment conscious of discovering the jewel within obtains that state of mind. Whatever you pay attention to, you become. It's called the law of life. If you pay attention solely to your problems, you will have more problems come your way. If one is focused on happiness, happiness will come your way. It's so simple a concept, yet we were never taught this in school. Our true nature is compassion, happiness, and love. We have simply put clouds inside of us. Take away the clouds, and one will have a clearer vision. Automatically, the sun will shine inside of you. This is your true nature. The sun is always shining inside of you. That is your true state of being. I thought I'd laugh a lot when I'm speaking. Yesterday I talked to my dear friend Mark, and he told me, I'm constantly laughing when I speak. Yet when I listened to Lama Glenn, it was off the charts. To be honest, it was incredible. He had the laughter of a child and the wisdom of a Lama. I could see all his early training with the Dalai Lama paid off. You are the company that you keep. No wonder the Buddhas are such funny and lovely people. Victim of your environment. I've said many times before, the spiritual path is the most practical path. What do I mean by this? We are all victims of our environment. We are like leaves blowing in the wind. When the environment is good, we are happy. When the environment changes, we become frustrated. Externally, everything changes. Nothing remains the same. Consequently, our happiness goes up and down. We try to hold on to our happiness for dear life. Consequently, we experience tremendous pain. Life will never go totally the way you want it. One may see the glass as half empty or half full. A wise man learns that inner happiness exists inside of him. Therefore, the world may change, yet one resides in the ocean of happiness inside. This has been known for thousands of years, yet it falls upon deaf ears. Isn't that ironic? What we've been searching for exists inside of each one of us. I find that sad at times. You are the universe. You just don't know it. Modify our behaviors, reprogram the mind. Just think, if you modify our behaviors, you reprogram the mind. What a difference that would make. It's not easy, yet it can be done. Just start slow. You will stumble and fall. That's part of life. Don't get hard on yourself. Pretend it's a game, because it is. Your life will change significantly when you do this. Your happiness is not dependent upon others. You can't blame anyone for your problems. There is a way out of this rabbit hole. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. No, it's not another freight train barreling your way. One who smiles at life is truly content. One has nothing to say or prove. You don't have to defend your position or try to convince anyone. The truth needs no convincing. Have you ever thought, if I just changed this one bad behavior, it would make my life easier? Simplicity is the key. Just look at a newborn baby drifting off to sleep. Nothing is more joyful watching that sweet smile appearing. This is your natural state.
I once had a grand teacher who said, meditation is perfect concentration upon a perfect point. How elegantly said. Imagine the mind is like a tuning fork. Whatever it touches, it vibrates at that frequency. Have you ever felt that material happiness is finite? Imagine the car you've always dreamed of, a yellow Ferrari. In the beginning, it brings you so much joy. You take all your friends around the block for a spin. Day and night, you are satisfied. One day, you notice that a little dissatisfaction has entered your door. Day by day, your yellow Ferrari becomes a hassle. How many times to the shop? I need an oil change. My brakes need changing. The transmission just went out. Everything material wears out. Material happiness will soon lead to pain. Does this mean we can't enjoy the comforts of life? Do we have to live a life of a hermit? How can we live in this world and live in absolute joy? Meditation brings the individual to the center of the hurricane. The winds of change are blowing, yet perfect calm resides inside. This is your true state. Absolute joy, total bliss. Your mind is vibrating with the word of life.
How would you like the Dalai Lama to be your grandparent? I love Lama Glen's story about spending time in India, going to the first Dalai Lama school. It was so intimate and endearing. Glenn said the Dalai Lama treated each one like a grandson. That's an incredible state of being. So much attention was placed on them. I love the story when Glenn asked why the Dalai Lama never went to the United States. He was told his visa was always denied. Lama Glenn had a father-in-law who checked out this rumor, and lo and behold, he never requested a visa. To make a long story short, he was told how to apply and get approval. He was told, don't go through the Tibetan government channel. He was told that during the 50s, the CIA was involved in Tibet. If the CIA got wind he was applying for a visa, they would have stopped the process. That's how the Dalai Lama first came to the States. If you have read this far, you might be interested. You probably rolled your eyes. I'm writing a series of books on the great mysteries of life. This book will help you to see a different side of the picture in the journey of life. We live most of our lives externally. Signposts are all around, yet we don't have the eyes to see. You are your own guru. You may have the greatest teacher in the world, yet if you don't practice, one will never go anywhere. There are many different ways to find the jewel within. This is one incredible way. It is always fine-tuning and adjusting itself for the current times, yet the foundation is eternal. This isn't your typical books. I don't write typical books. It may at times seem scattered, yet each topic is meant for you to ponder. Pondering is a lost art form. 30 years ago, I had a grand teacher who would tell you to ponder over what he had just taught. To be honest, it just went over my head. Fast forward 30 years, and pondering is an intricate part of my life.
To ponder it over means to think it over. When I was young, I didn't truly understand the concept of ponder it over. I would say, let's get to the facts. We can brush it over. Yet pondering makes the mind go within. It helps connect us to our higher selves. It enables us to connect where we can be open. To ponder something over is to stir the pot. When the soup settles, the answer comes to the surface. Pondering is a way to connect to something far greater than yourself. Have we forgotten why we should ponder in our life? If so, why? Are we so distracted in our daily affairs? We miss out. We have forgotten our true nature.
I get high with a little help from my friends. We had two incredible teachers for this course, Lama Glenn and Chandra Lai. Both of them were highly entertaining. Lama Glenn has quite a sense of humor. He knows the subject backwards and forwards. He has been studying this for around 50 years. I highly recommend this to everyone. I've been meditating for 50 years. I was introduced to an ancient system. Mine, I've been meditating on the chakras for many years. This was the first time I encountered a disciplined system of tummo and chakras. Everything comes to us at perfect timing. This was a Zoom class on Saturday and Sunday morning. Lama Glenn taught the Saturday class and Chandra Lai taught the Sunday practical class. Chandra Lai lives in South Korea and the class was a Zoom session. Lama Glenn lives in Canada and his class was streamed from there. This practice is very practical and can be used in each and every moment in one's life. Even when one is sleeping, one can be aware during the sleep state. Gosha and Jonas were the event organizers and moderators. They live in Europe. They did a magnificent job. I see great signs for them in the future. They are quite young and have much knowledge. Both of them had a great sense of humor. Just wing it. Sometimes in life, you just have to wing it. Lama Glenn told a great story about when he had to translate a book from Tibetan to English. This was in the early 70s. He had only learned Tibetan only a few years earlier. Yet the Lama that gave him the assignment said, just wing it. In the future, someone will take your work and expound on it. He said, this has been the way. Nobody is perfect. Yet if you put your heart and soul into it, this will be reflected in your translation. The tone is the most important message, not the words. The Dalai Lama doesn't speak perfect English, yet his smile lights up the world. Six Yogas of Naropa. According to Milarepa, Tummo is the basics for the 6 yogas. The 6 yogas are Tummo, illusionary body, clear light, dream yoga, bardo yoga, and poa. Let's investigate these further. Mind you, this is a high level. The Buddhists have been studying this for thousands of years. There are many different schools and trains of thought for this practice. Lama Glenn taught mostly from the Nguma system, which is feminine in nature. I liked it because it was simple to the core. Many of the preliminary steps were taken out, like this one below. The essence of the Nguma system was the incredible simple practice. Mind you, it can get quite sophisticated in theory, yet the practice is quite simple. One can feel the results in one daily practice. I feel blessed. The Nguma system contains the bare essentials for one to be enlightened. It is probably the simplest practice in the 6 yogas and Naropa system. They have many schools and trains of thought, yet the goal is always the same. Migmar Tirsin 25 is from the remote province of New Breed, Nepal. He sports an afro hairstyle, a swag beard, and a charming smile, and an earring on his left ear. He carries a chic leather backpack. When I first spotted him, he was bowing full length on a plyboard in front of 3 Buddhist statues. He has bowed or prostrated 3,000 times already, he said. Only 97,000 more to go. Prostration involves bowing to the ground or bowing on your knees with your forehead touching the floor to pay reverence to a holy or venerated person or object. The following came from Wikipedia. Nguma is considered one of the most important and influential yoginis and Vajrayana teachers of the 10th or 11th century in India. She was a Dakini and one of the 2 female founders of the Shangpa Kagyu school of Vajrayana Buddhism, along with Dakini Suhashidi. Her birth name was Shriyana or Palaki Yeshi in Tibetan. Like many of the Mahasiddhis and Tantric practitioners of the time, Nguma was known by several names both during her lifetime and afterwards. She was called Yogini Vimalashi or Vadahara Nguma or Yana Wisdom, Dakini adorned with bone ornaments, or the sisters, referring to her purported relationship to the great Buddhist teacher and adept Naropa. She was also sometimes called Nigupta, which is explained by the historical Buddhist scholar Tarananta as follows. The name Nigu accords with the Indian language, which is Nigupta, and is said to mean truly secret or truly hidden. In fact, it is the code language of the Dakinis of timeless awareness. There is often confusion between the biological details of Nguma's life and the spiritual accomplishments and that of the renowned Vajrayana teacher and Mahasiddhi Naropa. While the biological information for Nguma is scarce, what is available often offers details that are identical with the biography of Naropa. While not much can be confirmed about the historical details of Nguma's life, what does remain is the corpus of her teachings and her impact on the founding of the Shangpa Kagyu Buddhist spiritual lineage, known as one of the 8 great chariots of the practice lineages. The importance of the Dakini Nguma as a spiritual practice teacher and lineage founder continues to this present day. Tummo and Tantra. Over 40 years ago, I heard about this ancient practice. There would be stories with pictures of Buddhists sitting in the snow with wet sheets around them, and they would completely dry them off. The first thing that came to my mind was, why not just use a dryer? It would take no more than 30 minutes to dry. There are an infinite amount of powers that one can acquire along the way. I thought, how would it be if they used the power of compassion to do this? Years later, after listening to Lama Glenn, I understood that the foundation of Tummo is compassion. In fact, to evolve as human beings, compassion is the essence. Lama Glenn explained in his 2-hour seminar many things that helped me refine my understanding of Tibetan Buddhism. My vision and understanding were greatly magnified. I look back at how my life has been in sync with the Buddha. Our house is like a Buddhist temple. We have Buddhist statues, Kuan Yin statues scattered throughout the house. My spiritual practice follows the ancient guidelines that Buddha taught about. Lama Glenn helped me to understand that experiences I have had for the past 50 years and translate them into the Buddhist understanding. Mind you, this is only by listening to a 2-hour seminar. Lima Glenn is going to present a 16-week course on this subject. I already got my money's worth just by his YouTube seminar. According to Milarepa, Tumo is the basic for the 6 yogas. The 6 yogas are Tumo, illusionary body, clear light, dream yoga, Bardo yoga, and Pova. The Buddhists have a book called Crystal Clear. I read this book around 2001. Crystal clear is a state of utter formlessness. It is how to bring infinite radiance, stillness, and formlessness into everyday life. My understanding of crystal clear is probably the merging of Buddhist thought and the current understanding of the quantum field. Both are talking about the same thing. Read some of my books and you will see this theme presented in many ways. Lama Glenn said that the human experiences the essence of Tantra in 3 ways naturally. Every night when we go to sleep, one who is aware can capture a snapshot of the clear primordial mind. Making love is another way. The orgasm can lead to clear light radiance if one is aware. Meditation is another way. All 3 can be awakened within oneself. When one is sitting on the meditation cushion, when one goes to sleep, called clear light asleep yoga. The last is the clear light of death when one dies. These states are the fallen, awake, dreaming, and death. Tumo is the basic for the meditation practice. It brings infinite radiance, stillness, and formless into everyday life. The ultimate state is elusive, non-physicality, a clear mind, clear sight. Glenn says there is an infinite me, yet all forms disappear. According to Lama Glenn, one learns how to lean towards form in everyday life and at the same time lead to the elusive non-physicality, clear mind, clear sight. The Kabbalistic calls these states feet on the ground and the head in heaven. One can sit and meditate and only have the 5 inner senses activate when one enters the clear mind, clear light state. Coming back to the internal senses, one activates the external senses. The goal is to harmonize the 2. The philosophy of Tantra says we exist simultaneously on 3 dimensions: coarse, subtle, and very subtle. Ordinary life is coarse. It consists of our minds and bodies. Everyday life is a part of this. External stimuli create internal experiences in the brain. At the coarse level, everything is experienced in duality. When one tries to meditate for the first time, one brings to the table a coarse mind, a mind that has been conditioning externally. Our body and state of mind creates various chemicals to reflect our state of being. The Buddhists have known this for thousands of years. Only recently has Western scientists embraced this concept and proven it over and over again. Dr. Joe Dispenza is at the forefront of this. The Dalai Lama has each year a conference with scientists from all around the world. This has been going on since the 80s. They have been studying the mind-body connection in the lab ever since. These are called by the Buddhists psychoneurology immune systems. Behind this loud noise lies the subtle body. Our minds and bodies are like tuning forks. We only vibrate at the frequency, the current state of mind and body. Here's an example of being out of balance. In my junior year, My parents took our family to Yosemite. It's probably one of the most incredible places on the planet. Yet I couldn't see the forest from the trees. I was miserable. Why? Because I missed the ocean. Now that is being out of balance. One can be in a heavenly place, and the subtle mind can be out of whack and cause suffering due to the state of mind. Your mental state creates the emotional state of your being. These disturbances are felt in the heart and thyroid. This is called subtle chemistry. The conscious mind and the subconscious mind are the two which control the chemistry. Remember, the subconscious mind controls 95% of our actions. Only 5% is conscious. I find it interesting that Carl Jung was familiar with Buddhist philosophy. I'm sure that much of his understanding came from that. Lama Glenn also believes in this. When one can stop the heart consciously and stop the physical functions, one enters the state of the timeless zone. The Buddhists are trained in breath retention. Tumo is the process of holding your breath and sending it to the heart. Then pure alchemy occurs and the higher chemicals are secreted into the body. According to Lama Glenn, by bringing all the energies to the heart, we become like a one-cell being. Arising from that brings the most subtle mind to be activated. Most of humanity lives in dense bodies. Need I say more? Look at the world today. Furthermore, Lama Glenn said, don't believe anything externally that's in the shape of an outside appearance. It's all illusionary. The biggest obstacles is to overcome the attachment to the ordinary appearance of things. This is called Maya, the great illusion. Talk to a quantum scientist and they will tell you about the quantum field. This has been proven over 100 years ago, yet we still live in the Newtonian model. At the next level, we try to manipulate these drops of chemicals to our advantage. In the beginning, we work with the four principal chakras, the navel chakra, heart chakra, throat chakra, and the center of the brain chakra. These chakras help speed up the evolutional process. The Tantra states that one day of meditating in this state is equivalent to 100 years of normal evolution. Paramahansa Yogananda said the same thing with Kriya Yoga. Anyway, there are scientific practices that can speed up this practice. The basic of the Tantra practice is to go from gross mind to the subtle mind and ultimately to the very subtle mind. Tumo, illusionary body, and clear light is the process to take you from the gross, subtle, and very subtle bodies. One achieves enlightenment by these three practices of yoga. Tumo energy always starts with physical exercises. There are 6 main exercises. First one is similar to pranayama. They do this because most humans are shallow breathers. The purpose is to harmonize the male and female energies. This is the same concept of harmonizing the Ida and the Pingala nerves. These breathing exercises are done 3 times. When you do this, both nostrils should be balanced. If not, repeat the 3 rounds. Note for further explanation on taking the class. One should always do this before doing Tumo. During Tumo, one day does fast breathing through the nose, according to Lama Glenn's instructions. Breathe in through the nose, swallow if you want. This will put the abdomen in the correct position. Hold for 45 seconds, relax, and slowly exhale the breath through the nostrils. Do this for around 10 minutes. Then do the same by rotating your abdomen clockwise and counterclockwise 3 times each. This is vitalizing your external organs. You're rotating the entire solar plexus regions. Do this without moving your backbone or shoulders. Remember to press down and pull up. This massages the gallbladder, pancreas, kidneys, and other vital organs. It is very good for digestion. Do the same, but push the stomach out and in. This is arising the fire energies. It also helps with the internal organs. No, don't read this book and try to do the exercises. You must learn from a qualified teacher. I'm just a mere beginner like you. Tumo means fierce woman. Digestive system is the system of the fire element. Did you know that there's a junction box with 72,000 nadis or energy channels that are wired there? It's not physical, yet it's real. Someday in the future, scientists will develop instruments which shows this. The acupuncturists of today know about this, along with the Taoists, yogis, lamas, and Jains. In Tantra, sexual energy is the purest and primitive energy. Our brain energies are the most impure because of the condition of our external stimuli, state of mind, and body. According to Lama Glick, by rising this sexual energy, our neural system is heightened by this pure energy. There are 108 exercises, but only 6 are needed. Lama Glenn's favorite exercises is look at 1:48:51 in the YouTube video. This is somewhat complicated. It just needs daily practice. Dragon history and Tumo. Everyone knows that fire dragons breathe fire. Of course, we all do. When they get really angry, they can incinerate anyone around them. Just ask the poor citizens in England who felt their wrath. Even in the beginning of Shambhala, the young and innocent dragons had anger problems. They would at times blow up and get angry. Even after years of meditation, this serious problem occurred. Yet they stumbled upon chance, or was it a chance? A different, more subtle fire within them. They happened to stumble upon Tumo, the fire of life. Slowly, this ancient wisdom was absorbed by them. They discovered the chakra systems and the channels within. They discovered nadis, which are like thousands of rivers running in the body. Mind you, in the coarse body, these can't be seen. Therefore, most people laugh and snicker when they hear such a thing. This process took around 5,000 years, even before the young Tibetans arrived. It took about 1,000 years for the Tibetans and the Indians to implement both their teachings and the dragon's teaching. Both of the systems were almost identical. They understood there was a coarse body and subtle body. They also understood there is a very subtle body that is infinite, beyond time and space. They would call this the Buddha body. Furthermore, they discovered the Buddha mind. They also understood Austrian physicist Edward Schrödinger is known for this phrase. The total number of minds in the universe is one. In fact, consciousness is the singularity phasing within all beings. There is one universal mind, or Buddha mind. These stages take place every night and bring you back to the source. Mystics and yogis have been practicing this for thousands of years. Slowly, over time, this Tumo system was developed. The Tibetan Buddhists have a comprehensive system of using Tomo. They may be different and have their nuances, yet the result is one and the same. This lineage has been carried on into today. Tumo is the foundation of their practice. Most people never discover the fire within and lead such an ordinary life. The wise man kindles the fire within and makes a bonfire. The fire then destroys all negative obstacles over time. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This system can be quite complicated, yet Glenn Mullen keeps it quite simple to use and understand. The following, the 8 stages of dissolution, is a riddle for you to solve. Ponder this over. Six, afflictions. The following are the 6 afflictions that keep us away from discovering our true nature. That you are the universe. You just don't know it. Attachment. Because we live our life focused externally, we are attached to people, places, and things. We are attached to ideas and concepts. We become extremely rigid in our thinking. If one daily recognizes the impermanence of all things, one could slowly remove attachments in one's life. The Tumo practices takes attachments and puts them into the fire within. Imagine having a log of attachment and placing it on a bonfire. The attachment would get burned up. Every day, the practitioner places attachments on the inner fire and blissfully sees the attachments get burned into ashes. Anger. Buddha said, when one gets angry, he is drinking his own poison. Western scientists know today that over 1,500 different chemicals gets released to the human body. Cancer is angry cells. Now, I'm not saying that all cancer comes from anger, yet the anger we hold on to is stored in the body. Remember, there's no difference between the mind and body. Ask any quantum scientist and he will tell you this. The Buddhists have known this for thousands of years. The Tumo practices places anger on the bonfire and converts it to love and compassion for all. Every day, the mind, body, and soul are being rewired to ultimate love and compassion. Ignorance. What could be the ultimate ignorance in one's life? Maybe not knowing. You are the universe. There is only one mind. Your human body is wired for this. The software, hardware, and operating system have been there since birth. The 6 yogas of Naropa helps one to remember their true existence in everyday life. Pride, conceit. Our planet would be in a better place if these weren't around. I'm right and you're wrong. Therefore, I hate you. Look at the world around you, especially in current day politics. One who is full of pride and conceit will never realize the inner jewel within, at least for this lifetime. But remember, everything eventually goes back to the source. Doubt. I can almost see people's eyes rolling at times when I write. It sounds like too good to be true. Take a look at all my writings. I have almost covered all the world's major religions in some sort of manner. There is a thread of love tying us all together. One who dies deep within will understand this riddle. Wrong view, false view, opinionated. One who only focuses on the external will always have the wrong view of reality. One will become opinionated and be scornful if someone has a different point of inner view. What is a mango in less than a word? One who discovers the jewel within will understand what I'm talking about. Are you curious or dull about life? Are you curious about life or are you dull about life? Only you can answer those two questions. Do you wake up in the morning with a smile? Or do you dread every morning waking up? Are you a constant complainer or do you count your blessings every day? Are you in constant anger with life? Or do you see kindness in all? Do you judge someone who's totally different than you? Or do you love to see the diversity of mankind? Your thinking is the clothes you wear for your personality. One who knows this will wear clean clothes every day. Maybe it's time to do the laundry. Just saying.